Hello, everybody who's in chat. A special hello to our members, but happy to have everybody here. Welcome to another week of Wedding Film School Live. We are live reviewing your films that you guys, other wedding filmmakers around the world, submitted to us here at the Wedding Film School fam. And excited to be joined by my co-host today, Jay. What's up, Jay?
I shaved my head.
Jay did shave his head. Big news, guys.
I shaved my head. I shaved my head. By the way, while you're talking, I do apologize. There's a weird buzz on my microphone. I don't know. I've been troubleshooting it. Can't seem to make it go away. But sorry, suck it up.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Also, can we just look at Jay's, well, obviously beautiful haircut, but look at that background. It's just, I love it. I want that.
Yeah, you know.
This wall black or green or whatever it is.
Green. I got some plants. I even lit a candle today.
Wow. Just for you guys. Jay lit a candle. So Jay, we've got a handful of
a picture by my daughter. She let me know it's, I don't know what it is. She made me draw it, actually, some of it.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah. Drawing pictures with a 4-year-old is complicated.
Love it. Cool. So we've got a bunch of people in chat right now. I love that. We always like to start off because we know some people are here every week. Some people are members of our group. Some people maybe just found us. So here's the way this basically works. Quick recap. You guys submit your films to us. I actually just pinned a comment in the top of the comments. So if you want to submit films, that's where you do it. We've chosen 3 today. And if we have time, we will choose one live from people who are watching right now. And we go through your film. We're going to watch it in full, start to finish. You might hear some commentary from myself or Jay, here and there throughout watching it, but we try to kind of just watch it in full, start to finish. And then at the end, we're going to talk each. We're going to take turns talking about a few things that we love, things we think you did well or really excelled in, and then a few areas where we think, hey, here's areas for improvement. This is how this film could get better or something like that. But what we're really doing is saying, look, here's this film that you did on your next film, because there might be plenty of things, right, that you could change, or maybe it's an amazing film and it's only slight little things. And you see both of them here. We have people submitting of all skill levels. But what we want to focus on always is, here's the, 1 or 2 big things that are going to have the most impact for you to work on for your next film. So that's kind of our approach there. But important note is that, this is not just us. Myself and Jay, we have a lot of experience shooting weddings, many years. But, we want to hear from you guys too. You guys are in chat too. This is a community thing, and you guys sometimes offer some great insight as well. So be sure to be active.
We don't really talk we don't talk about ourselves too much. I think there's like a weird, it feels weird, right? If you're successful or you've accomplished things, but
I hate talking about myself.
But I will say, I know it's kind of important, and I was gonna tell everybody, this year is the first year me and Jared are gonna break $1 million gross revenue for our wedding filmmaking business. We're gonna do 220 wedding films. I'm probably shooting personally 30 or 40. I don't even know anymore, and Bobby's been making
them at the end of the year.
Bobby's been making wedding films for over 10 years, and he's raising his prices.
15,
raising his
years.
prices every year. He's traveling around the country. So we're not speaking from a perspective of I don't want to say we know what we're talking about, but I do want to say those are our credentials. So for whatever it's worth, if you're watching it, it's I watch a lot of wedding films every week. Jared always says I probably watch more wedding films than anyone in the world.
That's interesting. I feel like we'll get into the films, but I feel like there's kind of 2 things. You kind of fall into one camp. There are a few wedding filmmakers that I always kind of want to see every now and then, check in, see what they're up to, whatever. But I don't watch that many films. Well, actually, that's not true. We do this every week. But outside of this, I don't watch that many films. But I know other wedding filmmakers who watch so many films, which there's no wrong or right, but I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, I watch my own films. I have to watch.
Well, you have 220 to watch this year.
I have to watch 8 different wedding filmmakers work every week just to even make our product and do what we do. And so I'm constantly critiquing wedding filmmaking for a living. That is actually my job, is critiquing wedding films.
Yeah.
So anyway, without further ado, Bobby, do you want to pull up the list and tell everybody about our first wedding filmmaker today?
Wedding films. Let me grab it here. So the first one that we've got is, and I think he's in chat even, is Alex Jackson, Happy Pairs Wedding Videography. They've got a UK website, so probably in the UK. Shout out to our neighbors from, across the pond? That's the word or something. Anyway, so this is what Alex said to us. All right. Only want feedback on the edit. This was shot by my associate shooter.
I can't promise that. I read that. I was like, I don't know if I could promise that. And by the way, this is what I was going to say to that comment. I work with a lot of shooters that aren't me. So I actually think you should want our feedback on the shooting, because you need to talk to your shooters and you need to communicate what you want. So
I think that So let's keep going on this comment, because I think it's important. So he got COVID a couple days before the wedding. You know, they were supposed to shoot together. So I imagine it's kind of like he was supposed to be the lead, and that was kind of his second shooter. But he or she or whoever it was ended up ended up shooting the wedding as kind of the lead. So I totally understand that. But with that said, I do kind of agree with Jay. Like, hopefully you don't find yourself in this scenario. But even as a second shooter, I think you can. I don't think it's bad to hear any thoughts on the shooting, because, or the filmmaking or the film style or whatever.
Wouldn't it be good to be able to communicate what you want to someone else?
Yeah, whether you ever expand or you have teams. I know Jay and Jared do that. I personally don't, but it's just different business models. Or just like getting a better second shoot, like getting your second shooter to be even better. So anyway, trying to target U.S. couples traveling to Italy. Live in Italy. Altering my edits to match the style across the pond. Hey, there it is. Usually create a fast-paced music video style with not much audio, but the story doesn't really come through. I think the style is getting a bit old-fashioned. It's my attempt to edit a bit less fast-paced and hold shots for longer, show a bit more emotion. And we reviewed your film a handful of weeks ago. So
great.
I think I
remember this film.
Yeah, I think I do too. Not this film, but
I remember the filmmaker.
The other film.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Let's dive in.
I remember liking the film, so looking forward to this. Really nice color.
Yeah.
I promise that I will always try to make our love and friendship last. It is my hope that our feelings will always remain strong. May we look to our future together with both hope and happiness, remembering today, never allow anything to destroy the feelings we share for each other.
What a weird mic setup. I've never seen that.
I want to see it again. Bring it back.
June 2019, Jennifer was having a day out with her friends. And Ash asked me and Christine if we fancy going for a beer and a curry. Obviously I said yes. After the meal, Ash seemed a little nervous. I thought he'd forgotten his wallet. However, he looked straight at me and asked if he could ask Jennifer to marry him. Obviously, we were delighted. And said yes. And I said the sooner the better. It turns out he hadn't forgot his wallet after all. And we were more than happy to pay. A couple of months later, while I was on holiday in Mallorca, Ash took Jen for a romantic meal at the marina. Then walked her down to the beach and proposed.
That was cool.
There's actually a lot of really good shooting in this. He should be psyched with this
I
shooter.
agree. Maybe he is so psyched. So that's why he doesn't need commentary on it.
This is the song of the year.
I used it first. I used it before anybody.
I think one of my editors used it like last week. I was like, oh, this song. It's a new white dress.
I used it 10 years ago.
I invented it. I wrote this song. That's my voice actually going.
That's me. Is this longer than a 5-minute film, Jay?
Maybe like by a few seconds. I think like 5:30. I think it's almost over. There it is.
Okay. I would like to establish, A, first off, what's up, Jake Weisler? And two, it has been established Jake has used this song before anybody. He wrote it. It's his song forever and ever. We're paying royalties to him. So we finished the film. I think, I mean, I don't know about you, Jay. I think I can comment. I have a little bit of thoughts on shooting, but I agree. I think overall it was like actually very well. I kind of expected that comment to be like, hey, look, I know the shooting is bad,
but blah, blah, blah.
and I can't change it. And it's
No,
not
no, I
really
thought it
me
was
or
good.
whatever, but I think it's actually shot pretty well. So.
If one of my shooters shot this, I would not say crap. I would just be like, "Hey, good job."
Yeah,
and that'd be that.
Solid.
Like,
this is Jake. This is what's his Happy Pear's wedding videography, and pears like the fruit, Pear.
yeah, go ahead and I would paste.
And that's Alex Jackson there, who's in comments. It's his company.
Bobby, why don't you paste his link over his website link into the comments? Let's start with what we liked. So
check him out.
You know,
here you go.
Obviously, we talked about the shooting. I know that's not the critique, so I'll minimally critique that. But I'll only critique the shooting in terms of like you communicated well as a brand how you wanted it covered, and I think if this is your brand and the way you want to visually communicate, I think that the shooting is excellent. It's a crowd pleaser. It's very people focused. This is important. The thing about super like niche artsy filmmaking is a lot of times it's settings focused, but as a person who's shooting 6 to 8 wedding, like I know how to sell a lot of wedding films. And if you're trying to sell wedding films to Western or like American people, They want to see their friends and family. That is really critically important. And you did a good job communicating to the filmmaker, hey, I need a lot of this, I need a lot of that. So I think the content that you guys collaborated on capturing was excellent. On the editing side, you kind of hit all the notes. Like there's nothing in there that these people are going to be like, you missed this, you missed that, at least from what I can tell. Like, as I'm pretty accustomed to watching films and checking the boxes of like, did they get it all? And I felt like you jammed a lot in 5.5 minutes. It felt comprehensive as an edit. And I also think it was obviously well edited. It's just clean, professional editing.
Yeah, I think, so for me, as far as things I liked, and specifically talking to the editing side, I mean, I'll echo Jay on the shooting and say that I think maybe it's because I went into it with these low expectations based on your comment, but I think it was actually pretty solid. Are there things that could be changed? Absolutely. Maybe we'll bring up one or two quick in the kind of second part of this review of this video, but overall, very good. I think on the editing side, yeah, I think you got you included a lot of great content. What was I gonna say? Oh, we also talked about the color. I think the color was really well done. Pretty consistent.
I liked his color choice a lot, actually.
Yeah,
it was poppy but not neon.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little saturation, whatever, but it I don't know, it looks right. And again, the consistency I think was a big.
That's actually a tough
thing.
balance to get to, is like high contrast, high pop, not weird looking. So it's like it looks like a little bit outside of reality, but not weird.
Yeah, and there's some shots that look, I don't know if I'd call it like dream-like or whatever, but there's definitely like this, and I think part of that is the color, and I think it just works really well. So, I think you're always working with what you're given. Oh, this was a cool transition that we're going to see here with the flower.
It's a good idea.
It might be a centerpiece or something.
Even though I hate that centerpiece. Sorry.
Yeah. I think, again, kind of like Jay said, it's just a very clean, solid edit. With that said, I think there are places to improve.
Me too.
Jay, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll lead off.
So
I liked what you premised. Like, I'm trying to get this audience, because I think that's the best way for me to critique a film, is like, who are you selling this to? Because ultimately that's what matters. And there's a couple things here that I think you can improve on in terms of how you're presenting the information. And I think there's one, a general vague sense of there are parts that just drag. And I don't know, I can give one specific example of the bride and groom sitting down right here. It's just entirely too long of a sequence. These people are being tucked into their seat for I think I counted 15 seconds.
Long.
Because they even show them putting the bibs on. And I think there's a couple things about when you're trying to communicate to a large audience, especially American couples who have enough money to travel to Italy and get married, is these people care about how they look. And I don't think a couple who's flying to Italy with enough money there is going to want to be seen putting a bib on. Even if it's funny and it says Mr. and Mrs., I think, and maybe I'm wrong because they did pick the bib and you might want to ask, but it just in general, when I look at that, I go, that doesn't feel high end. And I think that's one little thing. I think the other thing is just more of an audio thing, but it has to do with storytelling, where some of the sound bites are pretty mediocre. They're not great sound bites, and maybe you can't pick a different one. But the other thing is the way that you mixed it, the song it was over was not right. You have these very casual lyric, things people are saying over this really intense, moody song. And one of the things I always tell my team is your song has to match the mood of the people at the event. So if the dad's up there going blah blah blah, and he's kind of just talking and he's being really casual, I'm watching the man talking and I'm he doesn't fit the scene that you're setting.
Well, I think the music plays, or it can in any edit, it can play a main character role, right?
Yes.
Let's call it that. And so when you have this epic, I mean, it's not an intense hype song, but it is
it's serious.
It very much is a main character song.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have kind of this just and maybe you don't have other audio to work with. I think you said that, Jay. And so like we can't critique like, oh, the audio was
don't include the dad. You can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah. So anyway, do you have more?
Well, I was just gonna say, so the other thing is, no matter if I like the song or not, if you're gonna have someone talking like that, I think you need to cut to the instrumental version, because you can't hear what he's saying. The music is too loud, and then he's not good with a microphone, so he's mumbling. You're losing all his high end. So you've got to create sonic space for people's voices, so that you're not having the song eat up all the, like, it's basically breathing all the air in the room. And so I think I would say maybe look for some better sound bites. B, if you can't, then pick a song that the sound bites feel at home over. And like maybe I'll show an edit someday. I just did one, very sweet couple, not super crazy high end, but I love the edit because I was like, everything about this matches these people, and it communicates to that person, but also the next customer who's like them. They're gonna feel at home.
Interesting.
So that's it.
All right. So my thoughts, and this is, I don't want to say this is a wild take, right? But this is, I'm going to kind of backtrack and say, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about this, Jay, or anybody in the comments. You had mentioned that you're trying to attract Western couples coming to Italy. And so you're ditching your fast-paced edits for these longer, slower edits. And I don't know that I think that's a good move. And this gets into a business sense, but when I think of a couple that's going to Italy for their wedding from the US, I'm thinking of like an epic film. And I think there is room to have fast pace. And I think I know what you're saying, where it's like, I want to tie in more audio. I want to tell more of a story. And I agree with that, but I don't think that automatically makes it so you can't be fast paced. And I think what you did here, if that was your mindset, is you were in this, I need to make something that is more maybe like this. And it was just a full pendulum swing to something that was too
maybe an overcorrection,
paced.
maybe.
Yep. Yeah. So an overcorrection, like a great example. I think your opening shot, you sit on it too long. I think the bride and groom entrance and the sitting down, again, that was probably both those shots was probably 20-25 second sequence. There's a lot where I think you overcorrected and you're sitting on stuff too long, and you're going to lose people. You're going to lose interest, I guess, rather.
I think it's okay to slow the pace down too, but it should be on something that's worth watching.
Yeah. So if you have this really good audio, you can sit on something for a long time, but you can kind of tell that you're trying to just build this out visually, because you're cutting back and forth for a while between just the father of the bride, I'm assuming, and then the couple. And you're just trying to like build out this slower pace and not cover it with B-roll and let it sit.
This might be
not important enough, or not important, but yeah.
This might just be like my personal take on these things, but like we do not include bad audio at all. Mm-hmm. Like I might include like one line just as a token. Yeah. But I'm not gonna. I don't care if the couple's like, well, like I don't think in my head like, well, they're gonna want to see their whole thing. Like I'm like salesman mode. You want to hear your whole dad speech? Give me some more money, and I'll give you the linear edit.
Yeah, that's what the reception edit is.
That's what it's for. So I'll sell you that, but I'm not gonna ruin my portfolio by letting your dad yammer on for 2 minutes.
At least not on the first take.
No.
Like if they give pushback and they're like, "Hey, I really want my dad's," I don't know, maybe we'll talk about that. But that never happens to me, at least.
Yeah, very rarely. Most people are like, my dad was not that interesting. They know. So not to say that he was so bad. I don't want to keep picking on this.
Yeah, no. Just like it was probably a great speech at the wedding, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, so moving on from that, so I guess all that to say is don't overcorrect so much. I think if your style is fast paced, and I'm all about getting creative and changing your style and figuring out what you want to do and trying different things and seeing how you're fulfilled creatively, but don't do it for the sake of some imaginary couple in a different country that you aren't really connecting with to begin with, because I think you might be overcorrecting a bit. I think lean into what you do well. I think there's a way to do fast pace and still include a story. And I think that's what you want to do. Not so much that slowing the pace, but more that you're telling more of a story is what I think you're looking to do.
Yes.
So on that kind of note, and I think with this edit specifically, and this kind of falls under that umbrella, I don't know about you, Jay, but I didn't feel like there was much of a payoff. I think there are these more built up parts of the song that you use through most of it, and they aren't really leaned into to make those parts a little more epic or maybe slightly more fast paced.
I've noticed with British weddings, and if you're here and you're a Brit,
this is an Italian wedding.
Well, is it Italian or is it?
Well, I don't know.
These are
I'm
British
not really
people.
sure.
These are British people.
I don't know.
And I've noticed with with British weddings, they barely do portraits.
Yeah, actually, I think he had a lot of good shots.
They were good. They were good,
and more than I anticipated there being. But like almost like placement, where I'm like, man, put an epic shot of the couple, at least like one at the epic build up of the song or something. It would be like this build up, and then it was like the cake cutting. And I'm like, I don't care about that.
So like in terms of storytelling for me, I always tell people, like, I'll tell my guys, like, you don't need to be so linear. Like there are things that exist outside of time in a wedding film. And to me, those things are like, there's a weird place to play. Like if you put a bunch of speeches in certain parts, that could be weird, but in general, you can kind of use your assets in a non-linear way. And I felt like having like some portraits sprinkled throughout the film, having a little more B-roll throughout the film, having like a little more of like the sexy shots throughout the film and not just like sequentially.
Yeah, kind of packed in together.
Because you're basically going like, first this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And I think like that to me is not really story driven. To me, story driven means like there's an emotional arc to the film and a payoff. And it's like classic storytelling of like rising tension, payoff. And I think you have to create that visually and emotionally through the music that you choose. I was talking today, we have a new product we're working on. It's this new 15-minute edit. And I'm trying to work on how do I want to tell this story, because I hate the way that the pacing goes on how the edits are. They're just dragging. Yeah. And I was like, we need a narrative arc, or we need a narrative element to these films that every time we shoot it, we control. That is not up to the speeches or the toasts or any of that.
You're not leaving it up to chance.
No. It's like we can have a way of controlling the dynamics of the film. And I think for you, that's the thing you're going to have to work on in terms of like, if you want to be story driven, is like, you want a lot of audio, but a lot of audio sucks at weddings. People aren't public speakers. They mumble. All kinds of things can happen. So how can you control the pace of the film visually and with music so that it feels story driven and it's not just relying on what people say?
My last comment is going to be about your shooting. I think your reception footage would greatly benefit from you investing in a solid light.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Even though you got lucky, because as much as this is bad lighting, it could be much worse.
Yeah, it could be much worse. It looks clean.
It looks styled.
But it just could look a lot better.
And actually, here's a little tip. Tell your shooters to tell those DJs to stop color changing the lights. It looks so ridiculous.
Pick a color.
Just say, hey, when I'm doing this, can you not do that? Thank you.
Yeah, for the first dance.
Or
just tell them to turn it off and use your own lights, because it'll look better.
One hundo.
Cool. But all that to say, Alex, this is still a very good film. So don't, or everybody in chat, don't think that we're like, ripping Alex apart here, saying it's bad, because it's not. It's a very solid film.
What if we were just like, this is a terrible film, we're not reviewing this?
Yeah, this is bad, I don't want to talk about it. No, so yeah, I mean, it's a very solid film, and I think I actually am really glad that you submitted that one, Alex, with that commentary, because I think it allowed us to have a discussion that we aren't usually able to have, which is almost more business side, almost more like conceptual side than it was about like, well, you should shoot this a little differently and your color was bad. Like, it allowed us to talk more big picture about like, well, why are you overcorrecting? Why are you trying to do this style?
Can I tell you what I would tell Bobby here? What I would tell him if he was my shooter in my market, by the way, not in that market, is I don't think a planner would like that film. And I always tell my guys, like, thank you. I always tell my guys, I'm like, this planner put a lot of time and effort, and I always say front load the details. They're not going to show your film if that you don't get to the reception details till 4 minutes in. You need that planner to be a free marketing agent for you. And so you need to front load the details. And people can say, oh, it's not about them. Okay, fine. Do whatever you want with your business. I'll keep making $1 million. And like, I'm telling you, you need planners and photographers. And the more you can make them your advocate, and they feel like, if I work with this guy, he's going to make my work look great. I don't know if they had a planner. I don't know if that's appropriate for that film, but I do think like that is kind of like venues and planners want to see their stuff featured. And if they're...
So you're saying start with that centerpiece that you really liked, right?
No. But I would say like, think about how to make it appealing for your vendors to want to share your work, you know? Yeah. And that's just, and like people doing makeup isn't going to do it.
Jay, do you have a pen in your hand, or is that a piece of licorice?
So this is like a little tie I use around all my cables.
Okay. Interesting. I've seen it off and on. I'm like, is that like what are the like sour punch
I need to get rid of this.
Whatever?
I'm playing with it too much.
That's what I thought. I thought it was candy too. Anyway, so on to the next one, yeah? Or take a little minute here.
Well, I was going to say, if you haven't listened to our podcast, you should listen to our podcast, because I feel like we're doing like a good job nowadays. So, no, I mean, I'm half kidding, but also like, I was looking at...
yeah, we're kidding. It's bad. Don't watch
It's terrible. Don't listen. But if you're... We talk a lot of business stuff. Bobby and I actually just did an episode about... that came out today, just about essentialism and kind of like... Are you essential to your business?
Or where are you essential?
Where are you?
I thought it was a very fun conversation. I love stuff like that.
Yeah. So go check it out, Wedding Film School Show. We also have a YouTube channel. And so what I was going to say is, anybody who's in this chat, if you want different weekly content from us, head over to the Wedding Film School Show, which is our sister channel, subscribe, and also go ahead and just like the videos, comment on the videos, because that's how the algorithm works. And also we want more people.
Algorithm. We love playing the game.
Forget you, YouTube. All right.
Oh, don't say that. We're getting canceled.
Oh, no.
Anyway, okay, so I just want to hit a couple comments. Okay, awesome. Love to hear that, Alex. Oh, thank you guys so much. Love that you all love the podcast. Speaking of liking a video, go ahead and hit a like button on this, or the thumbs up, or whatever it looks like. We'd appreciate that. Always helps us out, so thank you very much. And while Jay queues up the next film, I want to let you guys know about two things. One, if you do listen to the podcast, you know that we are sponsored by the Music Bed. They have been an amazing partner for us. And, Jay, I have seen, maybe you guys in chat have seen this too. I have seen so many posts this last couple weeks that are just like, what is the best music for weddings across different, and look, that comment always comes up, right? That question floats around very frequently.
Usually it just means, how do I not spend music money on the Music Bed?
Yeah. How do I get free songs by top artists?
Yes.
But all that to say, Music Bed, hands down the best. In our opinion, I started using Music Bed, Jay, basically when they weren't even a thing.
Were you on
when they opened?
Were you on TMB or the Music Bed?
Oh, I was an early adapter.
Yeah.
Now they're just Music Bed.
Yeah.
So
we talk about that in the episode.
Yeah. So we interviewed the founder of Music Bed, and that was a super awesome conversation.
Super informative.
Go check that one out. That was one of our most recent podcast episodes. But all that to say, I remember talking to them and saying, hey, I used to send you guys suggestions when you were a team of 3 people or whatever, and you guys used to respond and be like, oh, that's a great idea, yeah, we'll implement that. And I was like, this would make my life easier. And I don't know, it's funny. So anyway, all that to say, go check them out. You can follow the link in our description, and you can get 1 month for free off of an annual subscription. So you're gonna save.
It's kind of like the fake 1 month free where you're really saving 1 month off of $600 or whatever it is.
But if you want the best wedding film music, it's cheaper to pay annually anyway, and then you get a month knocked off as well. So you can go to the link in our bio, and then or in our description, and then when you check out for the annual wedding subscription, why do I keep saying that? There's a little box for a promo code. You're just gonna type in WF as in Wedding Film School. And that's going to get you your free month. So go check that out.
And it helps our channel, so please do it.
Yes. And it helps your business because you get awesome music. Okay, are we on to the next
Yes, we're all good to go. Let's go.
All right, so the next one is from Dylan Paradise.
Yeah, we apologize if we get your name
I don't know.
right.
I'm so sorry. But better known as, probably at least, Fade to White Films. So Fade to White Films submitting here. Thank you so much. And let's see, what are the notes? Shot on an A7 IV and A7 IIIs. Happy with the final product. Looking for feedback regarding flow, shot selection, color.
He's in the chat, by the way, Bobby.
Oh, are we gonna hit all three?
Hopefully.
Oh my gosh, I think we are. Which is
Fade to White,
astonishing because I literally emailed you guys like 1 minute before we started streaming.
Fade to White, real quick, on is the A7 IV your A cam or your B cam?
It sounded like A cam. The way it was listed. But
Awesome.
let us know.
Keep going. Do we have any more things to say about it? Any more words?
Nope, that was it. A7 IV was main cam on this one.
Okay, and he charged $3,500 with 2 shooters. We like to include that, not because it's a competition, because basically it doesn't matter
good to know
what you charge, but it is good to know because we want to be able to kind of think about your market. It's also good to know.
Market and area plays a role too.
Fade to White, if you can let us know where you shot this. That's also, I like to know that. This film is a little longer, so we might skip around a little bit, guys.
Yeah, our go-to is we'll either watch 5 minutes of it or we might skip around a little bit if there's some parts.
This one's a little bit longer. I mean, we got time. We might just watch it. But we
also
are
Fade to White coming in hot with the A7S III is the new A cam. You'll love it.
Nice. That camera is stunning. Like
I upgraded like this.
Was I not
off season?
I wasn't kidding, right?
Oh no, it's amazing. And like the first thing I shot with it was an interview actually out in Seattle, and so my A7S III was my A cam, my A7 III, which was previously my A cam, was my B cam, and I left feeling angry because my A7S III made my A7 III
look terrible,
bad. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's really frustrating actually. So
yeah, it's the perfect wedding cam. So all right, let's rock and roll.
Thanks for submitting, Jake. We usually pull an extra one at the end.
Chantel and Michael met each other 5 years ago when they were working as paramedics in southern Manitoba. It was not long before their supervisor knew to start booking them on separate shifts, as their friendship and mutual respect had grown into something much more.
Excellent soundbite.
Yep.
Chantel, from the first day you walked into the St. Pierre EMS station, I knew you were special. I couldn't keep my eyes off you, and I always tried to come up with reasons to talk to you.
None of us were surprised when she enrolled in the Criticare paramedic program. This is because when we were kids, she wanted to follow every ambulance to the scene of the crime and suggested sitting in the ER every time we were visiting family simply to watch the chaos.
We knew she was either destined to be a first responder or she was a psychopath. And we're actually still not sure.
Roasted.
Michael, my best friend, my partner in crime, and today my husband. I can't believe this day is finally here. Back in 2017, I was very excited to start my new job as a paramedic. Who knew I'd meet the love of my life? After several months on the job, having worked a few shifts together, I convinced you to apply for the position to become my work partner when the spot opened up. If I can remember correctly, I told you I would be a fun partner to work with. You ended up taking the spot, and I'm so glad you did.
It didn't take long for others around the station to notice that I had eyes for the new girl. But I'll never forget when Charlene pulled me aside after shift change and whispered, "Have you noticed the way Chantel looks at you?" To this day, thinking about it still gives me butterflies, like right now. The start of a love story that I hold closest to my heart.
Wow. Wow. You look beautiful. You look beautiful. You look so good.
Love that shot.
Oh my God, you look amazing. Can I touch her?
I have heard the news.
Chantel, you have grown from a beautiful little baby to this beautiful young woman here today, and I couldn't be more proud to call you my daughter. As a mother, all I've ever wanted for you was to be happy, and I see the joy today in your face and the love, and for Michael, I thank you for that. You have made my daughter so happy, and I welcome you into our family. And for anyone who ever joins this clan, I say, strap in. It's going to be one hell of a ride.
A week after our first official date, you told me if we were to be together that you would love me forever. Well, here we are standing together saying yes to forever. I promise to be the best wife I can be and to one day be the best mother to our children, whenever that may be. You're going to meet an amazing father.
I've heard the promises of heaven. I've heard.
Okay, Bobby, I'm going to go a little past this.
Cool.
Over to... Well, just a little bit, because I don't want to miss this.
Chantel, I need you more than you'll ever know. Thank you for choosing me and for bringing so much color into my life. I love you.
I give you my hand, my heart, and my love from this day forward, and as long as we both shall live. I love you, Michael. I promise to always be your #1 fan, to take on the role as the fiddler's wife proudly, to be in the crowd cheering you on at all your shows. I promise to never lose our spark and to always do the little things to make you happy, going golfing together being #1.
I look forward to making more memories together, golf, traveling, music, camping, and starting a family of our own. Then teaching them how to golf, so we can golf more.
You may kiss your bride.
Is that the groom?
Friends and family, it is my honor and privilege for the first time ever to present Mr. and Mrs. Michael and Chantel Odette.
the end.
Okay.
Sweet.
Closest to my
Position.
So, Bobby, what did you like?
Okay. So first, we actually both said this. I think you introed with some great audio. I think you had a lot of great audio to use, and you definitely wove a story with it. I also think you got really good like coverage and like I guess what we like not only coverage of what was happening, but also good like variety of shots. Like I think sometimes, Jay, we see people who are like clearly on a gimbal all day with a 50 millimeter, and that's it. And I don't think that's what you did. So it's always nice to see. I think you did well with that coverage. Also, I've seen this in the comments a few times, and I agree. The reception lighting looked very nice for the dances. I think you did a great job with that. You had one shot that I actually commented on when it came up that I really liked. You had some like bokeh in the foreground. I don't know if that was put in post or, the way it was shot or whatever, but that was really well done. And I don't know. Those are a lot of things that I wrote down.
Okay. I think I'm trying to think about this film in a different way because honestly, there's a lot about the film that if it was my guys, I'd be like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? But I'll say this. You hit where it counted, which is, first of all, I mean, there's no like garbage, just like, why is that even in the film shots? And I know that seems like a very minimal compliment, but it takes experience and skill and you have to have good content, all that good stuff.
Well, and you hit it both areas where you got to shoot that way, and you also have to be smart in the edit on that.
Yeah. And I think
there's two situations where you can screw that up.
And the biggest thing I'll say is, I think this is probably true across your brand. You bring a lot of respect to the couple, and there's a listening to how you're creating the film. Like, the couple is going to feel heard when they see this film. They're going to watch this and go like, oh, this person's like trying to understand me and know what's important to me. And that is actually the most important thing. So anyway, let's talk about areas to improve.
Flip side, as it exists with everything. Now, I have a handful of things written down, and the first one that I have written down, and I think, Jay, you alluded to this in comments, or I think it was you. And it's always hard for me a little bit, guys, because I have like a slightly kind of lower resolution stream coming to me through Zoom is how I'm watching it, so I'm not delayed. But I think your color needs some work. And Jay, would you agree with that, or am I off?
Yeah, let's
on
just
that?
talk together about this because then we can hit it from all angles.
Yeah.
The colors all over the place.
The skin tones are all over.
The biggest thing that I'm noticing,
the
thing I'm noticing is, first of all, I can obviously tell when two cameras are switching, and that is not good.
Mm-hmm.
B, there's a thing called, I don't want to talk down to anyone or assume that anyone's stupid, but sunlight is full spectrum light, which means it has all the colors in it. Versus LED light, which is strong on your blues and your greens. And so what happens is when full spectrum light hits a leaf, it goes through the leaf, and leaves are actually multiple colors too. So like that's why full day sun through certain leaves will look yellow. Grass looks very yellow in full day sun. It actually looks and you could tell because when you'll see her holding her flowers, you'll look at the green in the flower, and it will look like a earthy green. And then you'll look at the green in the plants and in the trees where the sun's backlighting them, and it's yellow looking throughout the film. And then you cut to the other camera, and it's muted.
Yeah, this camera, you have a very clear difference in, I don't know which camera's which, but and I see it a lot in the skin tones.
Yeah,
but
like look at the trees back.
Other...
Look at her bouquet.
Yep.
And then look at the grass.
Yep.
Even the part of the bouquet that's in full sun.
Yeah.
It's like
that's almost like a neon.
Yeah, it's like it's very and I think a lot of this is like I'll tell my guys like I'll be like, this is muddy looking. This looks dirt. Like this looks like dirt when they're shooting like a reception. And I tell them that camera that you're shooting on doesn't like that that exposure. You need to give it more information so it can properly render the colors. And these Sonys, they don't like to be that overexposed.
Yeah.
Like, especially the newer ones. I would much rather lean towards a little lower when you're in these situations where you can barely see the screen because it's so bright.
Yep.
And not let it be overexposed, because like it's really hard. I mean, you might be able to recover this a little bit, but definitely like even people don't realize this, but it's like camera sensors that not only are they handling the exposure when you're overexposed, but they're handling the saturation.
Yep. And I think that's a big part that I noticed, that difference in saturation. You mentioned one of the cameras or angles being muted. And I actually kind of like the
muted one looks better to me than
stuff.
that.
Yeah. I think the other stuff is oversaturated. So I don't know if you're throwing a LUT on there or if you're playing with saturation yourself, but I think the skin tones definitely are like, I think that on this frame that we're on, right? To me, I think the skin tones maybe are a little oversaturated. They look a little magenta, a little red to me.
Well,
definitely
shadows are too blue.
Info. Yeah.
Shadows are too blue. Highlights are too saturated.
And look, I mean, it's look, weddings are tough. You don't get to choose the lighting always. So, but yeah, I think, I guess
just be careful on the greens,
on
especially with Sony. Sony has problematic greens, and if you don't get your greens correct in camera, they can really screw up the look.
Yeah. One other thing that I thought was interesting. Okay, I've two other things actually. One, I don't know about you, Jay. Maybe you don't really have a thought of this, but I always love silhouette stuff. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's emotional. But I didn't love the silhouette stuff in this because I don't really think that basically what I wrote down is either lean into it or lean out of it. And I would like, if you find one of the wider silhouette shots, that's what I would focus on.
These ones at Golden Hour?
No, actually, I don't mind that.
I never remember.
Prep. Like groom prep, there were 3 wider silhouette shots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
Yep.
Right, not those. Those actually I don't mind so much. I don't know. If we find a wider one, we'll find this one. So this is a great example where I don't feel like, and you did one with the bride too. To me, I don't feel like you were like fully committed to a silhouette, and it wasn't enough like payoff of the light on that side light to really be just kind of like a moody shot.
The thing about it for me is I don't actually care about what's outside at that house. I would actually blow it out.
And also that. So there's like a red car behind that.
I would blow it out because I think there's a couple times in the film where like the background was very obvious, but the background was not nice.
Yeah. I was saying there's a red car that's parked outside that window that we see a couple times. So stuff like that where it's like it's a truck. It's
truck
just
is like his favorite thing in the world, and he's like, please feature my truck. I guess that could happen.
Yeah. So I don't know. And that's a small thing, very, very small thing. But the bigger thing that I want to talk about, and I actually would like to talk about this together, Jay, as well, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. There was kind of 3 sections to this film.
Yep.
Fades to black, sitting on it for a minute. I mean, not an actual minute, but sitting on it for a second or two. And then kind of, it is almost like 3 wedding films. What are your thoughts on that?
Meh. I don't have an issue with it at all.
I don't think I inherently have an issue.
It doesn't speak to me. This is what I will say. I probably would have handled this edit a little differently, just personally. Like I was telling you, like, I'll show it someday, but like the film that we edited last week, it was like a film where the couple was very sweet and down to earth. And so it was really important to me that everything about the film matches this couple's mood, because really, like, filmmaking, a lot of times, this is product filmmaking. You're making a film to sell to a certain group of people. Like, you're trying to say, like, who will love this film? And I look at this film and I say, who are these people? These are salt of the earth people. They're not super rich, but they are really nice people. They like golfing. They're simple. They like these simple pleasures in life. And like, do I want to create high drama? Would I consider these people to be high drama people? And I'm looking and go, no, I would consider these people to be it's simple, into the simple parts of life. And I would have tried to, not downplay the drama, but I wouldn't want to elevate certain elements of the film above the mood of the people I was filming. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, I felt like you wanted to make a film that the couple wouldn't have been able to make. And I that's not to be harsh, but I'm looking at it and going like, I felt like we should have leaned into the simplicity of the couple a little more, even though I think, like I said, I feel like they're going to love it. And I feel like in terms of like a narrative and the way you portrayed them, I think they're going to look at it and go, yeah, that's us. But in terms of just how you just decided to like visually put it out there, including like fade to blacks and some, I felt like it maybe would work on a certain other type of wedding, but on this wedding, it felt like a little much.
So that was technically my section of things that
I'm going to only say one thing.
On. But so while you do that, Jay, I have to go plug my computer in because I realize I'm not on power and I'm running out of power. So you can take over.
All right. So this is one thing I tell my team always. So right here, this is an excellent lit image because you see the halo around the couple's back. And so it's got dynamic. And it's not excellent. It's a little hot on the front. But in general, because you have that hair light and the light is not straight on, you have dimension to the couple. I actually don't like how the speeches were lit at all. And I would tell people, I would like, don't light it like that. And because our rule internally is, which they don't always do, but I always tell people, I go, shoot shadow side. So right there you see it, right? Where that mom is speaking. You see, I'll just play it. When the mom is speaking, it looks really nice because she has shadow on one side and light on the other. I think the light should be a little higher because you can see that shadow being cast from the microphone on her arm. But in general, you have dimensionality on how she looks. But when the girls get up and talk, or even when the first dance happens, like right here, maybe other people like it. I don't like how this looks. It looks flat to me. I would have wanted to see a little more dimensionality in the couple. I would have probably wanted to see that light shifted over probably like 20 degrees to your right. So that way the couple didn't look like they were just front lit, like direct flash. Like I like to have like edges and shadows and like I don't want people to look flat. And so my suggestion is like shoot shadow side as much as you possibly can and don't put a light straight on your subject. Give it an angle so that way you can see some shadows and like that's what excellent lighting is. And that's my 2 cents on the lighting.
There we go.
There we go. So, but it was a good film, and like I'm I'm ripping into it because I want you to be better, and I think I'm looking at going. These are really simple, very simple things to fix, and that's why I want to point them out because like whether it be your exposure or your color grade or lighting, that's the easy stuff. Like if you don't know how to film or tell a story, that's hard.
I think it's always important that people know like when wow, my hat is like very crooked. After
you look like an idiot.
No. I think it's very important that people know, like, especially when we really dive deep into a film, it's probably because it's a pretty solid film.
Yes.
And it means that the things that we say you should improve on, or can sometimes be like, sometimes it's an easy fix and whatever, but still talking through them can be more.
No artist wants to hear that, like the art that they create, that not everyone loves it. So we appreciate the courage and like it takes a lot to even listen. And like the also thing is we're not the end all be all. So you can just
we always start the stream.
I did want to send a tool to everyone, and we're actually working on a deal with Film Convert guys. So if you like Film Convert, we're gonna hopefully be able to get you a better price.
I use Film Convert.
Me too.
And I did before we even.
But there's a tool that you might be interested in, Fade to White, or anyone here who has multiple cameras called Cinematch that they make. That is very excellent. We are going to be able to hopefully get you guys a discount soon. So if you want to wait a week or two. But if you just really need it, it's an excellent tool. And it's made by the people who make Film Convert. And it will help you to match your cameras. And it's really cool.
It will match cinematically.
Yeah.
Hence, Cinematch. Yeah. So anyway,
Next film.
Let's see. Next film. Okay. So, and how about this, Jay? How do you feel about doing a fourth film today?
I think you should see where we are after this one, but I don't have a problem with it at all. This is the longer one, and I'm going to skip around, but I have a reason why I want to do a longer one. And so I'll tell you guys up front. Like, we're going to be skipping around maybe a little, but we are going to try to play a lot. And the reason I wanted to do it on this one is because I have some storytelling critiques that I want to give this filmmaker, because they are an excellent shooter. And they don't need lots of help with that. But I think there's some storytelling things. And we don't talk about long films like this a lot of times because I'm like, why is this so long? This is dumb. Why is it this long? This one clearly was hired to be this certain length, and it's very multifaceted. So I think it's not a total dud that it's long. Anyway,
I have not seen it.
Moving on, Bobby. Go ahead and tell everybody about the film.
Yes, this is coming to us from Lex Abshire, who is also in chat. We are 3 for 3 being in chat so far. And Lex says, shot mostly on the Canon R6 handheld rig. EOS R was the second camera used for the ceremony. Felt good about the vast amount of experiences I captured throughout their time in Moab, which is one of my favorite places. Love Moab. Very, very awesome place. And I think we're ready to go if you're ready to go, Jay.
I'm ready.
I do hear some music in the background.
That was my music. I'm turning it down.
Okay.
I was trying to just cover the annoying buzz.
Gotcha. All right. Well, whenever you're ready.
Beautiful Canon color.
Jennifer, first and last. First, I want to say, just take a deep breath, my love. Enjoy this moment. Today will be filled with many firsts and many lasts. Today is the day that for the very first time, we will no longer be two, but join together as one. Today is the last time you have to call me your fiance, and the first time that I get the privilege to call you my wife.
So, Bobby, this is what I want to do with this film. I kind of want to pause a couple times because I think with longer films, there's always, you need to break it up somewhat the way that they broke it up and then maybe look at it. So whenever we do a longer film, and I think a lot of people, a film this long, you kind of start with essentially a built-in teaser.
Yeah.
To the film.
I always call it like a creative recap or something.
Yeah, hype intro, all that stuff. And I think that was effective. And I think this is actually one of the most effective parts of the thing. And often it is. Like the filmmaker can let out all the stops. They don't need to worry about the rules. And I will say...
and the goal is, you have maybe 15, 30, 45 seconds of somebody's attention guaranteed.
Yep.
And after that, you don't know. And so you front load it with kind of this epic feel. And
you're padding your runtime too, because a lot of people are selling, a 12-minute film. And if you can cut off a minute and a half with something interesting, so that way you can plod your way through the boring parts.
You can reuse a lot of some of that.
You should be reusing some of it. And so that's what I was going to mention to everybody, is that when you watch a film like this, when you watch a long film, I'm not saying everyone has to do this, but this is a very effective way for longer films. Hype intro, get your way through this, use it to A, pad the runtime, B, get a person drawn into the film early in a creative way, and also it creates dynamics. Mm-hmm. And I think the next part you're going to see is he's going to bring the dynamics down, and you're going to experience that. So let's go. I like the handheld look here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use 2 of those shots in a row, but good.
I agree with that.
When I think about John David and Jennifer, the words that come to mind are answered prayer, pride, unconditional love, grace, forgiveness, and finally, celebration. These are the words that come to mind when I think of them. If you know their story, then these words are already familiar to you. To my son, John David, today, son, is answered prayer. Even before you were born, your mother and I prayed for Jennifer, even though we did not know her. Our prayer was that God would deliver the perfect wife for you. I believe that God had that exact person picked out for you, and I just stood on that promise that He would deliver God's woman for you, and today He answered that prayer.
Jenny, I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for showing me what a good friend is. Thank you for teaching me what it means to be yourself no matter what others think. And thank you for being one of the best friends I've ever had. I remember meeting you like it was yesterday. We connected instantly and our friendship has only grown ever since. Your laugh is contagious, your personality is radiant, and your heart is huge. I've seen a couple different versions of you over the years, and I have to say the version of you with JD is my favorite. To JD.
So, Bobby.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that woman's speech?
I literally just wrote, don't love, I think, bridesmaid's speech.
It's so uncomfortable to listen to.
It took me out of that story. You're building this scene, this world that this film is taking place in, and you have these amazing scene setting shots and this really, really good content from the officiant, who I believe was the father of the groom.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then I'm just instantly taken out by this rushed, very nervous sounding speech.
So that all that to say exactly what you're saying. I feel like when you're gonna try to slow things down, you gotta slow it down. And like, if you gotta include something from something like this, I would try to not include her at all, because that was clearly not great. And B, I would try to include it over something more high energy to cover it up. And C, I wouldn't have included there. I wouldn't have included close to all of that. I might have just included like, oh, I've seen a lot of versions of you, but this is the best. And that's all I would have included.
Because I think, we kind of mentioned that in one of the other films that we were reviewing, where it's like, we understand that sometimes you need to put somebody in as a token of, that's probably not the right phrase, but you know what I mean. Where it's they need to be represented.
They put them on stage for a reason. They love them.
Yep. And so, but yeah, I think there's better ways to use this speech. And it's not even bad. It's just, it doesn't fit here in the way that it's said and kind of what she's saying.
It's just taking away from your art. And I looked at it and said, like, I thought you were killing it with the mood setting, and I just think don't take away from it.
It really changed the mood. I think that's the best way.
Don't take away from what you're doing well. Really look, take a step back and try to be like, oh no, this is the art I want. This is exactly how it is, and I don't want to compromise that. Anyway,
and I will say before we keep going, prior to that, the like I was saying, like, you're building this world. The world building was very, very well executed.
Yeah, really opinion. Good. And not to say, like, it is what it is. Like I was saying before, what happens at the wedding is what happens to the wedding, and that is not you can't control that. So
yeah.
All right.
Now, don't worry, it won't last all night, but I'm going to say that this glorious lady that you're going to make your wife tomorrow is my best friend, and if any of my long paragraphs about our friendship can say anything to you, I hope that this sticks hard.
This is great.
She will always care for you, because she always has. Knowing all that love, laughter, and support that she's poured over us and our friendship over the past almost 10 years is just a sliver of the piece of life pie that y'all will share together, and that's maybe God's sweetest treat. I'm so happy for you both.
What did she say?
I don't know. Seems like an inside joke.
With you all. Let's whoop it up.
So my opinion there is, but loop it up. Hit into that
hit
but we went down even more. And so I think like this is why I said storytelling, because I think as a shooter, you got it. I think how to implement this storytelling is like will help you a lot. Like if these speeches were towards the end of the slow part and you kicked off something big, like you're kind of creating that energy. And I think that would have been the way I would have played it.
I wanted to hear what was that song in the first one that we've all used, and we own the rights to it now.
Oh,
yeah,
that one.
Yeah,
like the ambient audio, like the setup.
Yeah,
I don't know if they paid for a longer film, by the way, but
unconditionally, our third word. As you prepared for the gifts that you were going to give Jennifer, I saw a little bit of me in you, your sentimental side. You kept gifts and notes that you and Jennifer shared when you were.
I want to know what
in
you
high
said to that
school.
guy there. You're like, hey, write your
See
letter,
this?
but write it in this one sliver of light, please.
And also, please look up and pensively. It looks awesome.
No, yeah, I looked at. We're teasing you. It looked awesome, but it's just fun.
This dad, I think, is a professional.
This is the first gift that your mother ever gave me.
Oh, man.
When we were in college, we were poor, but we looked forward to what this said, because it says smile, Friday's coming, and that's what we live for, because Friday meant that was the time that we were going to get to spend alone time together.
God knew I needed a brother, to have a forever best friend, to protect me from any harm in this world, to be my cheerleader through it all, to have someone who is always in my corner, to have someone who will get into mischief with me every now and then as well. I feel I may have had a part in his extraness, especially his good-looking style and his more shoes than any girl you will ever meet. But I say all this because my brother is someone who is very observant. He pays attention to all the details. He watched me get my heart broken more than a few times, and he held me while I cried and listened to what I was always looking for. I've seen this over the years in how he treats Jenny, from the over and beyond homecoming and prom proposals, and I will never forget running through Walmart grabbing flowers and candles to set up in her driveway before she made it home one year, to the just because gifts because he saw something she would love. But more importantly,
one thing I'm noticing, Bobby, that I'm not loving is I don't love this. Some of this B-roll, I want to kind of hear the ambient audio. Like it's interesting. Like he's like, oh, here we go. Let me pour this, and this person's talking over it. It was earlier too. I don't mind like meaningless ambient audio, but I feel like this is scene-setting ambient audio, and I would have liked it to stand on its own.
Character building.
Yeah.
ambient
By the
audio.
way, how likable is this family?
Yeah, seriously, they're crushing it.
All right.
I've seen how he has prayed for her countless days before they met and throughout their entire relationship. His love and prayers for Jenny have been present from the day that they met. His love for her is pure and true, and as Christ loves his bride. Jenny is John David's true soulmate. She completes him. She shows him love and grace, and she is selfless and loves with her whole heart. She's the true definition of a supportive partner, supporting John David in his call of ministry and any adventure that he goes on. I've seen Jenny grow into this incredible woman who loves Christ first and her soon-to-be husband second. Jenny is the person that was made for John David. And since their journey began in high school, he always knew this was the...
I think you should warm up those shadows.
I will say, well, actually, never mind. I'm not going to comment on it.
Only because to me it feels more deserty than just really cold shadows. But that's just me. That could be personal preference.
girl he would marry. When I see him talk about her, his eyes sparkle and always light up. She is and always has been the love of his life. Jenny, this week has been very emotionally hard on me because I know tomorrow my spot as John David's #1 girl gets passed down to you. And I couldn't think of a more perfect girl for that spot to go to. I also know, as you take on this role in his life, that I gain a sister, the sister I always wanted, the sister that God knew that I didn't need as a child, but as an adult. I love you both dearly. John David, thank you for always being my person, my best friend, and my ride or die. And Jenny, I'm beyond excited to welcome you officially into our family, and thank you for loving my brother the way that you do. Cheers to a lifetime of adventures together.
He said it was more winter, and it's leading to that feel. That I get that. My only thing is, like, even back there's a couple of shots of her, and like her dress looks blue. And that's, to me, is like, I get it's blue hour, by the way, and that kind of, or it looks like blue hour, and so that's just my opinion. I would just want it to be a little more neutral on the whites, and I know what would happen is when you warm up the whites to get white, you start turning those shadows a little more orange. So I would maybe like want them like a tick up, like 10%, not orange, but just more true. So.
Cheers.
So much good B-roll though.
I'm supposed to turn down. Oh my. Hi. I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you. Thanks for.
I could not officiate my daughter's wedding. That would kill me.
Wait.
I'm excited.
I thought that was the father of the.
Maybe.
Never fear.
Maybe.
Got some good words.
Okay.
I mean, they know. It's a little confusing to me, but they'll
Don't
know.
say 'em too fast.
Yes.
That was cute of them then.
Yeah.
It's like her.
Fair enough.
They have that close of
You know how
relationship.
much I love you.
I love
And how thankful I am for you.
Aw.
And how happy you make my son. You mean the world to me. You're my girl. Okay?
Thank you.
This dude is a superhero. If we could have him at every wedding, just to getting sound bites out of Bobby. Love is good. What just happened in my office? Something fell.
Who has the rings?
That's cute. Oh, so good.
Okay, good job. Good job.
Oh my
You
gosh.
did not throw. Okay, great job.
Add him to the.
But do you see why like
Superstar family.
this doesn't feel like a 9-minute film?
Yeah.
Like it's always engaging you and communicating with you, and that's why I was like, I kind of want to play a longer film that actually does it right. And there's some minor changes I think he can make, but I feel like this feels good. Like you're connecting with people, and I think that is the story we're telling. We're telling a family story. We're not telling, even though there's an event aspect to it. This is not like a quote unquote high end event. Like it's nice. It's in a nice place. These people were wearing tuxedos, all that crap. But it's not focused on maybe some of the films I might be doing at like Castle Hill or blah blah blah. So I think that's why I wanted to feature it, Bobby. Is kind of something where we're kind of talking through like, okay, if you're making a 12-minute film, this is the type of content you need.
Yep. Yeah.
Moving
Are we keep going with it?
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. I mean, if you have something to say, but I just think like the moments that he was stretching out feel natural.
It's okay.
At least it wasn't mine.
Exactly. These rings are an outward symbol and visible symbol of an inward and spiritual grace, signifying to us the union between Jesus Christ and His church. We ask God to bless these rings. You have declared your consent and vows before God and these witnesses. May God confirm your covenant and fill you both with grace. Now that John David and Jennifer have given themselves to each other by solemn vows, with the joining of hands and the giving and the receiving of rings, I announce to you that by the power of the state of Louisiana, that they are now husband and wife. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, those whom God has joined together, let no one put asunder. You may kiss your bride.
Woo!
It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you, for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. John David Broussard.
So I call that the turn, right? I'm not sure if you have better or worse content. Maybe if there was more dope stuff that you could have included, but whatever. It still was an actual hard turn, and you communicated quickly. There's a shift in the edit. We're going to change the style a little bit. It's much more of like a traditional highlight film, and this is what you can do with these long films. And you can you're basically doing teaser, documentary, highlight film, all in the same film, and it feels good. It feels like it's moving instead of like this long, drawn-out music video or just a bunch of people blabbing on, all that stuff. So I feel like you hit that turn, and there was like a concept there. Right, Bobby? What did you feel about that?
Yeah, you hit it. Yeah, exactly. We kind of shifted.
Well, and also like there was little accents and like the editing style shifted a little. It was nice.
Couple fast cuts, etc.
He's very good at editing the music too.
Yep.
The little those sound effects, he's using them.
Ever dreamed of. I am so lucky and blessed I get to call you my husband today. Our love came back stronger, fuller, and surrounded by more faith and love than I ever imagined. I'm so excited to be able to start this new chapter with you, my best friend forever.
So this is one of my biggest critiques of the film. I felt like you wasted one of the best parts of this song, where you could have done some really crazy edits, and you put that dialogue in, and I feel like you could have taken some of that less quality dialogue during the rehearsal dinner and used this heartfelt dialogue from the couple. I would have liked to seen her reading it too. I think that's the bride, right? Seems like
I
it.
believe so. Yeah.
So that's one little critique I have. I feel like this could have like been extra crazy. So anyway, but I love the ATV. This is cool. That's fun. Fun ending. One minor critique. I like all caps or all lowercase. I don't. That's just me. How do you feel about this?
I'm very curious. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I want to know where you flew. Because this is just riddled with national parks. So I'm very curious if this was a legal flight.
Yeah, I'll just ignore that personally.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want to go there and fly. I'm sorry, you were going to say what?
How do you feel about the, closing little credit sequence?
I think it fits this film.
Me too.
I don't think it's something where I would be like, this is my thing. I do it at every film. Because I think there's a lot of films where it wouldn't work.
Yeah, but I felt like because you're doing the longer film, you
I don't know that I love this part. I like the names of
I like the names better.
people.
I don't really like this. I've seen some people try it. I remember White and Reverie tried it a few years ago.
Okay.
What I preferred that they did is they showed someone doing the work. Like they would be like blah 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 planning, and they would just have a nice logo and show the planner's work.
Yeah.
Instead of like a scrolling thing. Regardless, though, I bet they thought it was super cool. Okay, so let's just real quick talk
really
about
quick,
the film.
We already dove in.
Yeah. What's your just overall impressions and like you could do likes, don't likes, all one little pass.
Yeah. So things I liked. I really like the intro. We talked about that. I like that raw look. I think you had some really good handheld stuff and whatever. I am going to come back to that though. Color, beautiful. Coverage, very, very well done. You had so much coverage, a lot of like reaction shots and stuff like that. I don't know if this was two people or one. Either way, I think it's impressive. And then kind of what I talked about earlier on, just that world scene, like the world building was just very well done. Although there were points where, we kind of came out of it, but yeah, it's super well done with that. A couple of things. We talked about some things that we didn't like throughout it. One more thing I would add is, as much as I liked your raw handheld stuff, there were definitely shots to me where I saw some pretty,
it was more like the editing, right? It was more like like you need to T-shift it and like not include both the edges of the movement. Like I kind of tell people,
yeah, there was like
movement.
there's some movement that I like, but there's some movement that looked very Jello-esque to me, like you were trying to stabilize it and it didn't work.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would just say for a long film, I think this was a rousing success. I think you did an excellent job for such a long film. One of the better ones I've seen that isn't like this multi-luxury, crazy. It's Destination, but it's not like Sculpting with Time Destination, where he has like 7 portrait sessions and all this crazy stuff. And I think it was really, really, really good. I kind of hit on the things I loved about the film. And more than anything, I felt like you, as an artist, connected and then worked hard to bring that connection to the film. And, of course, the shooting was really good. My criticism, I let it known. Honestly, the biggest criticism I had was, like, there's a lot of underexposed shadows, and I get that that's, like, a style. Sometimes it's crushed, but there are times where I literally couldn't really see what we were looking at. Or I like would miss that there was even a couple there because it was so underexposed. So I might kick that. And then I also think like what we had mentioned about not that you don't include the audio, but I feel like putting it in the right place. When you have a film this long, you have a lot of opportunities to like put things wherever you want them. And I think maybe moving it around to better fit the mood of the sequence you're in might help you. But other than that, I thought it was amazing. Really good film.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Do we have time for this, or do you want to just put it for next week and just say let's do it next week?
I say we do one more where we watch through it without stopping. Sorry, I'm pulling up the list. And we do a very, very quick, kind of like what we just did at the end of this one. Not diving too deep into it, just sharing some thoughts.
Okay.
All right. I am going to get.
And I'm going to plug in my thing and you talk.
Okay.
I'm going to do some editing while we do this. Open up Final Cut.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully I can download this.
Okay. So. I got to get to the right date. Sorry, guys. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get up a random number generator, which you cannot see, and will just have to trust me.
I trust you. You're not.
12, number
People
9.
want the
That's
privilege
gonna
of being
be-
reviewed by us.
That's true. 12, 10, 9. Oh, and it is Jake Weisler.
All right. Okay.
Wait, is Jake Weisler? Well, I don't know if he's still here or not, but isn't he? Wasn't he with full-time filmmaker or whatever?
No idea. Never.
Anyway, so I will wait. Do you want me to send this to you, or how do we
Send me the link.
All right.
And then I'm gonna download
Second.
it.
Perfect. All right. Oops, that is the wrong
Just
link.
Slack it to
And
me.
while he downloads it, yeah, I'm gonna Slack it too. While he downloads it, I will give you the information that you desperately want to hear about this film. Why is my stuff not popping? Okay, here we go. So here is what Jake says.
What did he say?
Shot mainly on Canon C70s, a few 1DX shots in there too.
What
3
is up with
days
the
of filming.
C70s? Every time I see something on the internet, it's always somebody having they're like, blah, 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 my C70.
I don't know.
That's the camera.
3 days of filming, destination bridals, rehearsal dinner, and wedding, all put into a 7-minute edit. So heads up, we will probably only watch 5 minutes of it. But because we had so much content, I feel like the pacing never slows down, which is awesome. But also felt like we had to cut things out. The bride is a wedding planner, and she did it all. And they purchased a 7-minute film and the trailer.
Idaho is beautiful.
And there's no price listed. So there we go. Yeah. So apparently it's in Idaho. I'm hearing.
Yes.
And I agree. Idaho is beautiful. I have shot there, and the Coeur d'Alene area
Well, it's one of those places that people are like, Idaho. And they're like, no, Idaho. It's nice.
Yeah. All right, we're getting this in the chat. Jake is a big videographer. Yes, he is. And I think Jake does a bunch of educational stuff too. So two worlds colliding.
Oh, yeah. What if we're just like, I wouldn't watch his content. It's pretty good, but
Yeah, his wedding's all right, but his educational stuff.
I wouldn't let him educate me. It seems like,
Yeah. Sorry. Let me clarify. I think he used to be part of Full Time. I think he used to be under what's that guy's name? Parker Walbeck or whatever.
Parker Walbeck. Does he do weddings still?
I don't really think so, but who knows?
He just does gimbal move videos.
That's right. What is our ETA
Now.
J? Our ETJ.
Now. I just exported that ProRes, put it on our Shogun, and
cool.
Ready to rock.
Also, hey, heads up, buddy. This is from a long time. That's just coming back to my mind. You had asked if we were reviewing your film. I didn't see a submission from you.
Yeah, I apologize.
I saw one from like 2 weeks, or like, what would it be? It would be more than 2 weeks ago. I saw one from 3 weeks ago. 21 days ago was the last one that I saw from you.
We always tell people, like, if you want it, I really encourage you to submit every week. That if we don't get to your film, that just helps us a lot. And
Yeah, so the way it kind of works is if we have like a slower week of submissions, then we might go backwards or whatever, and look back.
Yo, this film is dope. Good choice.
But yeah, this was not a choice. Fate chose this.
Good randomness.
We had 12 submissions from the end of, I don't know, the third film or whatever. I
don't know if he's still in the chat. If he is, that'd be awesome. But
I haven't seen him in a while, so maybe not. But you guys should all, I don't know, what do you do? How do you like get in touch with somebody? Like tag him or something, tweet him, I don't know, whatever, and let him know to make sure to come back and watch this, because this should be fun.
Okay, so we're just
we're gonna tell him how bad he is.
We're just gonna watch the whole film all the way through, and we're not gonna comment till the end. Okay?
Yep. Oh wait, all 7 minutes, or are we stopping at 5?
It's good. I want to watch all 7 minutes. People will like it.
All right. Jay loves watching wedding films.
So I hope this will work. I have a voicemail from March of 2019. Is this the first kiss? Okay.
Oh, yes.
So I was out of town. I was out of self-service for some reason. And Madeline, what time is this at? This is at 1:42 a.m.
Listen, I know you're camping and probably have no service, but I had to call because I am dying and I think my shoot. This is like the worst day for you to be gone. Okay, so I texted. I can't even tell you the whole story now, but Andrew kissed me and I was dead. No, just call me as soon as you get service because I'm so pumped. Love you. Bye.
That is so good.
So good.
I want you to know that I will love you forever, and I'm glad that our story is like nobody else's, and I'm glad that we've come this far. I love you so much. Did I? It's still on, just like our love will always be.
But 4 years ago, somebody intuitively foresaw this evening. It was Andrew. And we were chatting, and he was just being congenial and fun and energetic, and just like, man, I like your yard. Which is always striking me because I like my yard too. But he goes, I'd love to have great for a reception. Could I have a reception here? My reception? And I said, duh, if you marry one of my daughters. I think he was just trying to bring the topic up. I think that's what he was trying to do.
Andrew was, oh, dude, I just got rejected. I went to drop Madeline off, and I leaned in, and I told her, I'm gonna kiss you. And she's like, no, you're not. Gets out of the car, and as she's like about to close the door, Andrew says to her, well, you're gonna regret this. Madeline, do you regret this? Okay, good.
You're gonna regret this.
Give you weighted yay? Justin, a big payday for you. And heaven shining on you?
Oh my gosh, he's dadding me out.
Once again, let me present to you Andrew and Madeline Belknap.
That's some height.
That dude is the most charming groom ever. That guy's ridiculous.
Growing up, my dad used to tell me that I wasn't going to marry a perfect man, and I would tell him he doesn't have to be perfect, just perfect for me. And today I married the perfect man for me. Falling in love with you was the easiest thing I've ever done. I think I avoided how I really felt about you for a few years now. Andrew, you were an answer to so many of my prayers, even prayers that happened well before I met you. I'm so grateful and feel beyond lucky that I get to be your wife for eternity. I'm so grateful Heavenly Father answered my prayers by giving me you. I love you forever, Andrew.
I feel like fate chose her. She chose me. I've never wanted to marry someone so bad.
That's a great way to end it, right? So, Bobby.
All right. You want me? I'll do my likes and my dislikes.
Me too.
Okay. This is obviously a very, very well done film. Straight off the right off the bat.
Yeah. You're in the top 1-2% in the industry.
Yeah. Very enjoyable to watch. Very well shot, edited, etc. So I actually don't have a lot of things to say as far as changes. Jay might have some more conceptual stuff.
I
do have a couple.
I have some editing things, but I
have one editing, one shooting thing, but things that I loved. Obviously, amazing film, perfect intro audio. I love the use here of what we're watching right now with the voicemail of text.
Oh, so good.
So good. To play a character almost with the text, because it's a voicemail and it's not somebody talking. So how do we visually represent somebody talking? Obviously, you show her holding the phone to the microphone, and so we know what it is, and she kind of sets it up. But I love that concept. I think it worked so well. You obviously had very good music usage, and the transitions between music.
The song choices themselves are perfect.
Yep. And one of the things that I wrote down is that you have some amazing shots. But you also have this great edit in areas where you don't have these epic shots too. What comes to mind is like prep. I think some of the prep shots were just fine. They're nothing amazing, but they still work well and you use them well in the film. And I think that is one of the signs of a good editor and a good edit, right? Is where
even right there, look, it's the whip at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to use this here, pan up.
Yeah. And like having where it's like, look, not every shot has to be a thumbnail worthy shot for the film, but you can piece things together that make it very entertaining. And they're not bad shots by any means, so don't take it like that. And then one other plus thing that I want to say, and another sign of like a really thoughtful editor, and this is probably intentional, maybe not, but one of the first shots, you come in on a drone and then it cuts to a shot of the tent of lights, I guess. It's not an actual tent. And it's this perfect match cut where your eyes are visually, you're on the tent coming in, and it matches to the second cut of the tent kind of from below, or the lights or whatever, kind of from below. And it's perfectly lined up with where he cut off in the drone shot to open with. And I think that's one of those very, very small things that just like it keeps you in that story. As far as things that I think personally I did not like, there's two things. One, I like the usage of the like 8mm or 16mm or whatever film matte. But I didn't love the actual choice of the mat you used or how you did it or something like that. I think it fits perfectly well. I think you transition to it well, you use it well, tied it with audio, etc. But the actual mat is just this really harsh square with the little like slightly rounded film spool hole. Yeah, sprocket. And I feel like it almost doesn't match, like almost like you had a mat of just the sprocket, but then you just like did like a straight up square mat.
That's the one shot I hate, by the way, in the whole film, is that one fence.
And then the only other thing, and it's a small thing, and I actually was not pulled out as much as I typically am, because I usually like kind of harp on people for this. There were some 180-degree line breaks, which I didn't mind as much. I saw it a little bit in the ceremony, but you weren't cutting back and forth between the like front shot and the over the shoulder shot of the bride that often. But I did notice it, like it did register in my brain for the first look, which was towards the end of the film. But small stuff.
So I have one major criticism with the whole film, is that the color is all over the place throughout the film. And it's specifically important in how the greens are handled from the drone. I can tell you're on multiple cameras. So like there's a sequence when they're in the field and the greens are super desaturated and like almost gray. And then they're coupled next to like very natural greens. And then we have the greens in this gimbal, or in this drone, which are borderline like neon. And I felt like a little more of a consistent treatment throughout the grade would feel more high end and feel more elevated. The other thing is I think there's too many overlays that are actually affecting the color. And so it could be that the color's there, but that the composite mode being used in the edit in the NLE is causing the colors to shift in a way that's not pleasing. And not only do I not like that, but I think there's just a little too much. Like it's almost every shot there's some kind of light leak overlay or something that which is nice, but I felt like it was a little too much, and it was a little distracting to me. The other thing that was a little distracting to me, and it could be because you're on a vintage lens, It could be that you're on a lens baby, or it could be that you're freelancing. And knowing how that works is like there's always a contrast loss with those, and I feel like you need to compensate for that contrast loss by either stylizing the shots a little more, or I don't know. But either way, I would like notice it when you'd have like either like a tilt shift kind of vibe or something. And I felt like some of the editing tricks were just too noticeable, and they were sticking out. Some of the in-camera artistry was too noticeable, and it was sticking out. This is like me criticizing it. All that to say, I don't think it really mattered, and I can't remember really enjoying a wedding film much more. Like I'm clapping because I'm laughing so hard. And these people are hysterical. You did everything perfect in terms of like highlighting like this,
building that story.
This is a dream couple, obviously. Like, and I felt like you did it justice. And like, I'm just saying, like, if this was submitted to WPPI and I'm on the judging panel there, these are the things I would critique. I'd say, like, look, it's amazing. It's really great. You got to get these colors more standardized throughout your film. Like, a filmmaker of this caliber shouldn't have greens shifting throughout the film. It should be perfect. That's what I would expect. I expect perfection. When someone can shoot this good and storytell this well, I would expect them to also be able to color grade equally as well. And I felt like the color correction or the in-camera strategy for color and exposure and lenses and all that stuff should be perfect. And it was close. It was good. And it's something that I think could have been rescued in post too, by the way.
Well, there you have it. Ending with a banger.
Really amazing.
Thank you, guys.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and that one thing I don't like. Sorry, I was going to say that like weird hyper move thing where the shifts and like the
speed ramp
the
into
blur.
like whip kind of.
It looks cheesy and cheap. I don't like that's beneath you.
Jay with some hard-hitting opinions.
I just think this person's so good as a filmmaker. So
this is
anything
a
I'm looking
phenomenal
at, I'm like, no, they're better than that. They're better than that. They're amazing. They should be making a perfect film.
Well, that is it, guys. Thank you to everybody who is still here, everybody who was here. On your way out, leave a like for us if you can. We appreciate that. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, over on our podcast channel, the Wedding Film School Show, which is a separate channel from this one. So go subscribe over there if you want some deeper, more, philosophical, business-related type of conversations, long form, where we can dive into topics. Thank you so much again. If you want your films reviewed, it is pinned at the top of the chat over on our website, weddingfilm.school/live review, I think, or /review or something like that. But it's up there. Once again, go check out MusicBed. You can get a month for free. Link in our description. Use the code WFS. And lastly, if you want to help support this channel and you want an increased opportunity or odds or front of the line VIP treatment of getting your films reviewed, consider becoming a member. Just hit the join button down below. We keep it super cheap for you, just $5 a month. And we always appreciate those who help support this channel and all the free content that we are putting out. We will see you guys next week. We do this every week, 1 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays,
12 o'clock Central.
And 12 o'clock Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you're not in the U.S., I do not know. And see you guys in the next stream.
See you guys. Have an awesome day, guys.